Listen up, because what I'm about to tell you will shock every single KingVon fan out there. The streets have been buzzing, rumors flying, but now a doctor who was at the hospital when KingVon took his last breath has finally spoken out. And what they revealed is nothing short of insane. We're not just talking about the tragic moments before his death, but a move so unexpected, so wild, that it's rewriting everything we thought we knew about that night. Emotions ran high as the doctor recounted Von's last actions, revealing a secret struggle, a heartbreaking decision, and a dramatic twist that's got the entire hip-hop world reeling. Family members are divided, fans are in disbelief, and insiders say this revelation could change Von's legacy forever. You won't believe the shocking details about Von's final moments, his surprising calm, the cryptic words he uttered, and the way he tried to control the chaos, even as everything was falling apart. What was he thinking? Who was he protecting? And most importantly, could this insane move have saved or doomed him? Stay locked in, because this story is about to blow the lid off the KingVon saga like never before. Trust me, you do not want to miss a second of what comes next. The hospital was buzzing with controlled chaos that night. Doctors rushing back and forth, nurses shouting for equipment, and the cold hum of machines beeping steadily. KingVon had just been rushed in after that violent shooting, and the tension in the room was so thick you could cut it with a knife. But what nobody expected was the insane move Von made while he was lying there, barely clinging to life. That would shock everyone present and spark rumors that still haunt the streets today. According to the doctor who was on duty, Von wasn't the typical patient. As soon as he was stabilized enough to respond, Von opened his eyes and did something completely unexpected. He reached out, pulling the nurse closest to him into a low, urgent whisper. What he said next was a game changer, a secret so heavy it caused jaws to drop and the room to fall eerily silent. "You gotta make sure this gets to my people," Von said, voice barely above a whisper but dripping with urgency. "Tell them I didn't go down like that. I'm watching. Someone's gotta handle the rest." It was a chilling moment. Everyone in the room knew Von was fighting for his life. But here he was, thinking about the streets, the game, the power struggles he left behind. Emotions ran high as family and friends were kept out of the room, waiting anxiously in the hallway, desperate for any news. When the doctor came out to speak, his face was grim, but those words stuck with him. Fans were shocked by the revelation when it finally leaked. How could Von, in the middle of dying, still be scheming, strategizing, planning moves beyond his control? It wasn't just a man fighting to live. It was a king refusing to fall silently. But it wasn't just Von's words that sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. Sources close to the hospital revealed that Von's injuries were more complicated than originally reported. While the media focused on the gunshot wounds, the doctor hinted at something deeper, a battle within Von's own body and mind, a fight he took on himself with no one else knowing the full extent. He was more conscious than anyone gave him credit for, the doctor explained. It was like he was in two places at once, fighting to survive physically, while also fighting the fear, the pain, and the betrayal he knew was coming from the outside. And that's where the story takes a twisted turn. Insiders revealed that just hours before Von was shot, there was an explosive confrontation involving his closest circle. Texts leaked from Von's phone show a heated argument with someone fans never suspected. Someone who was once considered family, but might have had a dark agenda all along. In one message, Von warned, "Watch your back, it's closer than you think." In another, he accused a trusted confidant of playing both sides. It was a classic case of betrayal that has become all too common in Von's world. But this time, it was on the verge of erupting into something deadly. People close to Von say that he was paranoid in those last hours, texting friends frantically, calling people in the middle of the night, trying to get everyone on the same page. He was desperate to protect something or someone. He knew the end was near, said one insider, but he was determined to go down fighting with everything on the table. At the hospital, those charged with caring for Von noticed another strange behavior. Despite the pain and exhaustion, Von kept trying to communicate something, a name, a place, a warning. But with every attempt, the machines beeped louder and the room seemed to close in on him. Doctors fought to keep him stable, but Von's body was failing fast. Family members arriving at the hospital were devastated, but also confused. There was a strange mix of hope and dread. They heard rumors of Von's last words, but no one would say for sure what he wanted to convey. The family was left divided, some believing Von was trying to protect them, others fearing he was exposing a dangerous secret. Meanwhile, social media exploded. Clips of Von's hospital entrance leaked online, alongside rumors that Von had been targeted by someone inside his own circle. Twitter erupted with fans debating who could have betrayed Von, with some accusing longtime rivals and others pointing fingers at his closest friends. Hashtags trended for days, fans demanding answers and justice. Then came the viral moment that changed everything. A leaked audio recording supposedly from Von's hospital room, capturing his voice barely audible, but unmistakably his. In it, Von sounds calm but resolute. "Tell them I'm coming back," he says. "This ain't over." The clip spread like wildfire, fueling conspiracy theories. Was Von really hinting at survival? Was he warning someone still out there? Or was this his way of sending a message from beyond? Celebrity reactions poured in. Fellow rappers, friends, and even enemies shared their thoughts. Some expressed disbelief, others sorrow, and a few hinted at hidden truths they couldn't reveal yet. The internet was flooded with tributes and demands for justice, making Von's legacy more complicated and charged than ever. Back at the hospital, tensions flared between medical staff and Von's entourage. Heated arguments broke out over access to Von and decisions about his care. Some accused others of trying to control the narrative, while others believed Von's last moves had set off a chain reaction of paranoia and mistrust. And just when it seemed like the drama couldn't get any thicker, the doctor dropped another bombshell. The real reason Von was fighting so hard was not just for himself, but for someone else entirely, someone who was hidden from the public eye, someone Von entrusted with his deepest secrets. He made a choice, the doctor said quietly, a choice that changed everything. He sacrificed to protect that person, and that sacrifice, it's what led to the final moments. This revelation shattered the last illusions about Von's death being just a random tragedy. It was a calculated, heartbreaking move that added layers of complexity to an already explosive story. Family, friends, and fans were left stunned, wondering who this mysterious figure was and why Von would risk everything for them. With every passing hour, the story grew darker and more intense. Rumors of cover-ups and hidden agendas swirled. Some whispered about the involvement of rival crews. Others suspected law enforcement interference. But no one could deny the magnetic pull of Von's final insane move. A move that was equal parts tragic and heroic. And just as the world thought it had seen the worst, new information emerged. Court documents leaked that hinted at ongoing legal battles tied to Von's death. Accusations flying, people scrambling to protect their names, and new players entering the scene with stakes higher than anyone imagined. Stakes higher than anyone imagined. This was no longer just the story of a fallen rapper. It was a full-blown saga of loyalty, betrayal, sacrifice, and mystery. One that had only just begun to unfold. And here's the kicker. Right when everyone thought they were getting close to the truth, the doctor revealed Von's last whispered words before losing consciousness. Words that could rewrite the entire narrative and open a Pandora's box of consequences. Tell the truth. Before it's too late, Von gasped, his voice fading. And with that, the room went dark. The question now is, what truth was Von desperate to share? Who was he protecting and who was he warning? And can the streets handle what's coming next? This is just the beginning. The story behind KingVon's final hours is far from over, and the next chapter is going to hit harder than anyone expects. The doctor's chilling last words, "Tell the truth before it's too late," rippled through the hospital like a thunderclap. Everyone present understood that Von's final message wasn't just a cryptic phrase. It was a warning, a desperate call for justice, or maybe even revenge. But who was the truth about? And why did Von want it out before it was too late? Inside, sources close to Von's inner circle leaked that the rapper's death wasn't as straightforward as police reports suggested. There were layers upon layers of deception. And the truth Von wanted revealed was buried beneath rumors of betrayal and cover-ups. Friends whispered about a secret meeting Von had scheduled the night before the shooting. a meeting that never happened but held the key to everything. According to the leaks, Von had planned to confront someone dangerous, someone who had been playing a double game for months. His text messages showed mounting frustration, with Von calling this person a snake in the grass and warning that the circle ain't safe no more. This person wasn't just any rival. They were someone Von once trusted implicitly, a friend turned enemy whose betrayal cut deeper than any bullet. Tensions inside Von's camp had been simmering for weeks, fueled by jealousy, money disputes, and power struggles. The hospital staff, aware of this, were on edge, watching every interaction closely. Meanwhile, on the outside, social media became a war zone. Fans dissected every detail of Von's last days, speculating about who the traitor could be. Viral. Tweets circulated accusing various associates, fueling paranoia. A popular influencer even claimed to have insider info that a major figure in Von's crew was cooperating with law enforcement. A bombshell claim that sent shockwaves through the community. Amidst the chaos, Von's family was torn apart. Some relatives believed in a peaceful resolution, urging calm and praying for answers. Others, driven by grief and anger, wanted to take matters into their own hands. Emotional meltdowns became common, with some family members publicly calling out Von's so-called friends on live streams, sparking heated online confrontations. In one explosive phone call leaked to the media, Von's brother confronted a crew member. The argument was raw and filled with accusations. You knew what was coming, and you did nothing. How do you live with that? The tension in the voice was palpable, revealing a family on the brink of collapse. And then came the betrayal that shocked even the hardest fans. A trusted member of Von's own security detail was implicated in orchestrating the shooting. Leaked surveillance footage showed suspicious behavior hours before the attack, and insiders say Von's paranoia about inside jobs wasn't unfounded. This revelation fractured relationships even further and raised questions about how deep the rot went. Despite the mounting betrayals, Von's legacy still inspired fierce loyalty. Fans flooded the streets with tributes and murals, turning his image into a symbol of resilience. Online campaigns started trending, demanding justice and calling out systemic issues that many believe played a role in his untimely death. Emotions ran high, with hashtags like Such Justice for KingVon and Such Truth Before It's Too Late dominating conversations. But the most dramatic twist came when an anonymous source close to Von's family dropped a bombshell. Von had left a recorded message just before he died, a message that wasn't meant for the public, but someone close leaked it to the press. In the recording, Von sounded broken but determined, revealing a secret plan to expose corrupt players within his own circle. "If I don't make it," Von said, voice cracking, "this is the proof. I'm not just a victim. I'm the last piece. They gotta pay." The recording included names, dates, and places, evidence that could ignite legal battles and bring down powerful figures. The potential fallout was massive, and it explained why Von's final moments were so desperate, so charged with urgency. Law enforcement sources confirmed they had opened new investigations based on the recording, but details were scarce. The family insisted on protecting Von's legacy, balancing grief with a hunger for justice. At the same time, Von's closest allies were torn, some pushing to release the evidence publicly, others fearing the dangerous consequences of exposing so much truth. Amid all this, tensions between Von's camp and rival crews escalated. A violent retaliation was rumored, threatening to plunge the streets into chaos. Social media exploded again, with threats exchanged online. Fans caught in the crossfire of a war no one wanted, but everyone feared. Then came the emotional fallout. Von's mother, in a tearful interview, begged for peace and unity. "My son didn't die for us to keep fighting," she said, voice breaking. "He wanted the truth, but he wanted us to be strong, not broken." The family's plea added a heartbreaking layer to the saga, showing the human cost behind the headlines and hashtags. Yet the streets remained restless, hungry for answers, desperate for justice, and eager for Von's truth to finally see the light. As the dust began to settle, another bombshell hit. The doctor who treated Von revealed new details about his medical condition, suggesting Von's body was fighting an internal battle no one knew about. Complications from the shooting were worsened by a previously undiagnosed health issue, making his survival even more precarious. The doctor explained how Von's body was rejecting treatment in ways that baffled medical staff. It was like his body was shutting down, but his mind was still fighting, the doctor said. There was this inner conflict happening, a physical and emotional war. This added a tragic layer to Von's final hours, showing the depth of his struggle beyond the violence and betrayal. The battle was not just external, but deeply personal, making his last moves even more heroic and heartbreaking. And just when the story seemed like it couldn't get any more intense, a leaked hospital security tape surfaced showing Von's final moments before he lost consciousness. The footage revealed Von reaching out, trying to say something to the medical team, but being interrupted by a sudden medical emergency. Fans were left watching in stunned silence, seeing their hero fight not just for life, but for a truth bigger than himself. The footage sparked fierce debate online. Was Von trying to reveal a final secret? Was he calling out someone specific? Or was it a cry for help that went unheard? With every new leak, every new twist, the saga of KingVon's last hours grew more complex and devastating. The line between friend and foe blurred, the stakes climbed higher, and the truth Von died trying to reveal remained tantalizingly out of reach. And just as the world thought it was catching up to the full story, fresh allegations surfaced that some people close to Von were trying to silence witnesses, manipulate evidence, and rewrite history to protect themselves. The battle for Von's truth was turning into a full-blown war of loyalty, power, and survival. And that's where we leave it for now. The doctor's words still echoing in every conversation, every headline, every late-night message. Von's insane move before dying wasn't just about survival. It was about exposing a truth so dangerous, so explosive, it could change everything we thought we knew. What happens next? Who will stand up to tell the real story? And who will fall as the fight for KingVon's legacy rages on? The answer is coming, but not without more heartbreak, more betrayal, and more drama than anyone is ready for. The hospital, tapes, the doctor's revelations, and the leaked recordings had set off a powder keg, but nothing prepared the world for what came next. Inside sources revealed that KingVon's last hours weren't just chaotic because of the shooting or the medical emergency. There was a clandestine battle raging behind the scenes, one involving powerful figures from both the streets and the music industry. According to a trusted insider who spoke exclusively, Von had uncovered a secret alliance between a rival crew and an influential music executive. A deal that threatened to destroy not just his reputation, but his entire community. The executive, known for controlling who rises and falls in the rap game, was reportedly orchestrating moves to sideline Von and his crew, making them targets. Von, ever the street strategist, had been collecting evidence for months, texts, recordings, even meetings recorded secretly on his phone. The doctor's shocking confirmation that Von's body was fighting against internal and external enemies took on new meaning. Von's final insane move was not just a physical fight, but a digital war to expose corruption. But exposing powerful figures came with risks. The night of the shooting, Von had planned to meet with a whistleblower, a former associate turned informant, who promised to hand over proof of the conspiracy. This meeting was supposed to be Von's leverage, his ace in the hole. But someone leaked Von's plans, turning what should have been a secret meeting into a deadly ambush. A leaked message from Von to a close friend, hours before the shooting read, "If they come, I'm ready. But I need that proof first. Can't do this alone." The desperation in his words was clear. Von wasn't just fighting for survival. He was preparing for a war that would shake the industry and the streets alike. As news of the conspiracy spread, fans and fellow artists exploded on social media. Many expressed outrage and fear, some pointing fingers at the music industry's shadowy power brokers. Rival rappers took sides, some supporting Von's legacy, others denying any involvement, sparking heated online battles that threatened to boil over into real violence. Inside Von's family, Emotions spiraled. The betrayal from within hit hardest here. Family members questioned who they could trust, some believing that the conspiracy ran deeper than just business, maybe even touching law enforcement or government officials. Late-night family meetings turned into emotional breakdowns, as grief mixed with suspicion and anger. One of Von's closest friends, who requested anonymity, shared a harrowing story about the aftermath of the shooting. We were all scared, not just for Von, but for ourselves. You don't know who's watching or who's working against you. It felt like the whole world was closing in. The emotional toll was evident, showing the immense pressure on those left behind. Amidst this turmoil, new footage leaked of an intense confrontation between Von and a rival rapper days before the shooting. The argument was explosive, filled with threats and accusations about loyalty and betrayal. Von's voice was fierce, almost unrecognizable in its anger. "I'm not the enemy," he said, "but if you make me one, I'll make sure you regret it." The confrontation gave fuel to speculation about who wanted Von silenced and why. Was this rivalry personal, professional, or something darker? Fans debated endlessly, some convinced it was a vendetta, others believing it was a carefully planned hit. Then came the most devastating revelation. Von's medical team disclosed that his body was not only fighting the gunshot wounds, but also an aggressive infection, one that doctors believe was deliberately worsened by delayed treatment. Insiders whispered that Von was denied critical care, possibly because someone didn't want him to survive and spill the truth. The implications sent shockwaves through the community. Questions about the hospital's role in Von's death surged. Were medical staff pressured or bribed to withhold care? Was this part of the larger conspiracy Von had been fighting against? Fans demanded investigations, justice, and answers. At the same time, Von's legacy was being shaped in real time. Tribute concerts, charity events, and murals popped up across cities, celebrating his life and struggles. Artists dedicated songs, while social media became a platform for both mourning and demanding accountability. But beneath the surface, tensions brewed. Factions formed, some loyal to Von's vision, others skeptical of the growing narrative. The story took another twist when a whistleblower from within the hospital came forward anonymously, claiming that Von had made a final request to secure evidence hidden in his phone and personal effects that could expose the conspiracy. This request was reportedly ignored or suppressed, adding to the theory that Von's death was not accidental but orchestrated. Meanwhile, online sleuths and fan accounts dissected every frame of the hospital footage, every leaked message, searching for clues. Some claimed to have uncovered hidden codes in Von's last texts, pointing to a bigger mystery. This digital detective work became a phenomenon, drawing attention from mainstream media and investigators alike. Family members, overwhelmed by the public frenzy, struggled to keep their grief private while navigating a sea of rumors. Some expressed frustration with how the story had spiraled, pleading for respect, but also demanding justice. Their raw, emotional interviews revealed the heavy burden of carrying Von's legacy amid chaos. And then came the dramatic moment that left everyone breathless. A surprise confession from a previously silent crew member. In an emotional video posted online, this individual claimed responsibility for a betrayal, apologizing to Von's family and fans, and revealing a side of the story no one expected. The confession hinted at complex motives, fear, survival, and manipulation by outside forces. This confession didn't close the case but opened more questions. Who else was involved? What was left uncovered? The layers of truth, lies, and half-truths kept unraveling, pulling Von's story deeper into a labyrinth of mystery and danger. With each revelation, the stakes rose higher. Von's death became more than a tragic headline. It was a symbol of a fractured world where loyalty was scarce, power was deadly, and truth was a precious commodity fought over fiercely. And as the story continues to unfold, one thing is clear. Von's insane move before dying was the spark that ignited a firestorm that could either burn down the walls of corruption or consume everyone caught in its blaze. The confession sent shockwaves through Von's camp, but it was only the beginning of a chain reaction that would rip open old wounds and expose fresh betrayals. While many hoped the truth might finally bring peace, the tangled web only grew thicker, with new players stepping out of the shadows. Shortly after the confession, an anonymous source close to Von's inner circle dropped a bombshell. The rival rapper from the heated confrontation was allegedly working with the very executive Von had been trying to expose. The alliance was a strategic power play, designed to dismantle Von's crew and silence his voice permanently. This revelation stunned fans and insiders alike, turning an already volatile feud into a full-blown war. The family was left shattered by this betrayal, with members publicly clashing over how to handle the fallout. Heated arguments erupted on social media, with some calling for calm and justice, while others demanded retaliation and retribution. Emotions ran high as grief mixed with anger, suspicion, and the desperate need for answers. Amid this chaos, Von's closest friends organized a vigil, hoping to unify the community and honor Von's memory. But even here, cracks appeared. A heated exchange between two longtime allies spilled into the public eye as accusations of greed and betrayal flew. "We lost him, and now we're tearing each other apart," one friend lamented in tears during a live stream, capturing the raw pain and frustration that gripped those left behind. The social media frenzy escalated further when clips of the doctor's interviews were leaked, revealing disturbing details about Von's medical care and the alleged cover-up. Fans flooded the comments with outrage,